God is dead. So Western man has often heard it proclaimed through the lips of his modern poets and prophets, Friedrich Nietzsche and others. You can accept this statement, that God is dead, as being true. You can also reject it as false or unproved. But whatever we think personally of this dramatic proclamation, we can easily recognize that for many people God is not very much alive today. His commandments are not taken very much to heart. Not only do we live in a world of hatred and violence, lies and distortion, theft and cheating, envy and jealousy, but all these things which God has expressly forbidden are increasingly accepted as being part of normal human behavior and are even proclaimed as rights. When we consider this state of affairs, we can see that God is not much respected, that he is not very much alive in our civilization, alive in present-day life. It may therefore be true to say that God is dead. Yet here at Aiglon, the opposite belief is proclaimed, that God is alive. The school maintains through its motto, which you carry on your blazers, that God is our strength. What do you feel about this controversy? Which of these two beliefs do you accept, that God is dead or that God, very much alive today, can be our strength? Perhaps you are perplexed. You don't know what to think. Is creation an accident? Something that evolved without design, without a designer, without God? If there is a God, why is there so much evil in the world? Surely, if this supreme being, God, existed and was benevolent, as we are told by his defenders, he would intervene in human affairs and put an end to all the injustice and suffering which vitiates our life as we know it. These and other questions may occur to you, and perhaps they leave you with your head spinning. I want to suggest to you this morning that this problem of God, does he or doesn't he exist, may resolve itself in an unexpected way. As we are still racked by doubt, not knowing what to make of this question, we may suddenly encounter God. Let me take an example of such an encounter. Some years ago it became clear to the citizens of Basel, Switzerland's second largest city, that something was wrong with their hospitals. Nursing, it was said, ain't what it used to be. Nurses tended to the sick, or to any other job, efficiently perhaps, but lacking in genuine care for their patients. There were, of course, exceptions, and one hospital in particular seemed to rise above the general level of inadequacy. Here the nurses were still dedicated to their calling, still cared for their patients. What was the explanation for this strange imbalance, you may ask? Were the working conditions in the Hospital better than those in other hospitals? Was the pay better? Not a bit of it. This particular hospital is certainly not the most modern, the best equipped. As for working conditions, these are in fact harder than elsewhere, with longer hours and less pay. In fact, there's no pay at all, for the nurses here are volunteers. They are nuns, and nursing their suffering brothers and sisters is their way of serving God. God is a daily, hourly reality to them, a never-ending source of inspiration. God is their strength. These people, fortunate enough to be nursed in this hospital, are in the hands of the helpers of God, nurses who meditate. Those people, fortunate enough to be nursed in this hospital, are in the hands of helpers of God, nurses who mediate God's loving care. Amongst those hospital patients are people who don't believe in God. They wouldn't go near a church. In everyday life, when they are well, they would steer clear of priests and their helpers. They have put themselves into the hands of these nurses only because of their superior nursing. Yet in choosing as they do, they are drawn to God even though they do not know it or even deny it. For what is this superior care they are after but God's strength, working through human agency. God, of course, it could be argued, need be no more than an idea in the heads of these nuns. Ideas or beliefs determine action, and ideals can inspire. God, on this count, may therefore be found to be an illusion, no more. I believe, however, that God is a reality and can be a source of strength daily. I first came to believe this as a result of encounters with Christians who have proved to me, through their lives, the existence of God, the daily strength of God. I am thinking of people who practice their faith in the worst of conditions, in concentration camps. From all accounts of life in concentration camps, such as Dachau and Belsen, there were many people who stood firm in the presence of bestiality and daily executions. But human dignity, refusing to stoop to the level of your oppressors, was not all that was remarkable. Forgiveness towards their tormentors, sacrifice of their own life for that of another, were amongst the virtues practiced even in these earthly hells. And for those who were able to set this amazing example, did so because they were inspired by their faith, because God was their strength.